Tolotos was born in 1856 in Greece, and sadly just 4 hours after his entry into the world, his mother suddenly passed away. As no father or other family members came forward, there was no one else able to care for the baby boy. The infant was found placed on the steps of a Greek Orthodox monastery on top of Mount Athos, which means holy mountain. The mountain is situated on a remote peninsula in northeastern Greece. The Orthodox monks living in the Mount Athos monastery adopted the abandoned boy and named him Michaelo, his full name becoming Michael Tolotos, which means the one who is entirely from Mount Athos. The child was raised inside the walls of the monastery, which he was to never leave in his 82 years of life. Growing up in the monastery, he was educated and trained in the ways of the Orthodox Church. As he grew older, Michaelo turned out to be a devout monk, dedicating his life to prayer and contemplation. He became known for his piety and self-discipline, and spent most of his time inside the monastery, rarely wandering far from its walls. Given that Mount Athos covers 130 square miles, Michaelo was not about to discover other mainstream communities and lifestyles on a simple walk. His only social interactions were with other monks and pilgrims who came to visit the holy mountain. He only learned about the existence of women from his peers, as well as through descriptions in books. The area around Mount Athos has for a long time been important in Orthodox Christian beliefs, having 20 monasteries nestled around the mountain top. The first monks arrived on Mount Athos during the 9th century, and today over 2,000 monks from Greece and elsewhere inhabit the Holy Peninsula, in isolation from the rest of the world. Each monastery has its own community of ascetic monks who vow to abstain from any sensual pleasure in life. The monks have come from all walks of life and cultures, and include Russian Orthodox monks who have had a presence in Athos for over 1,000 years. Serbian, Bulgarian, Moldovan, Georgian, Romanian, and even American monks are also settled in monasteries around the mountain, which is now known to be the largest area in the world in which women are banned. In 1060, a charter was drawn up announcing a ban on the presence of all women, including even female domestic animals such as cows, poultry and sheep, from Mount Athos. The law is still in effect today around the peninsula, making it the largest area in the world which is completely female-free. Women, girls and female animals are even prohibited from travelling within 500 metres of the shoreline. Women have long been banned from monasteries as a way of ensuring that the monks followed their sacred pledge of celibacy. But what makes Mount Athos unique is that such a massive, virtually self-governed territory has become like one huge monastery. The ban on female animals also means that no eggs or milk may be produced in the region, so cheese and other animal products have to be transported in from the outside world. The monks are also forbidden to shave and have to maintain long beards as a way of ensuring that no females are hiding in their midst. Thus, the image of the Virgin Mary is the only female presence permitted at Mount Athos, and therefore the only female Michael Tolotos had ever clapped eyes on, given that only a handful of women would have ever entered inside the Mount Athos monastery during its 1,000-year existence. While many monks who've decided to come to the area would have seen women during their lives before joining up with the monastic order, every single day of Tolotos' life was lived in and around the monastery. As a reflection of their dedication to the monastic way of life, monks are prohibited from fighting, arguing, or asking about the world outside, in a rule that remains intact today. Raised and educated within the walled Eastern Orthodox monastery, Tolotos never even once ventured outside past the gates of the monastery enclosure. This he would have been allowed to do, but was obviously not curious enough to find out what lay beyond. He lived out his entire life in seclusion, buffered from the external world, and without ever encountering a member of the opposite sex. Thus, when Tolotos' life ended in 1983 at the age of 82, he passed away never knowing what a woman looked like. The Edinburgh Daily Courier reported at the time that neither had he ever seen an automobile, an aeroplane, or even a movie. It was also stated that monks at his monastery gave him a special burial ceremony because of their belief that he was the only man in the whole world to have never experienced the sight of a woman. Although the centuries-long ban on women still stands, various women have stepped foot on Mount Athos several times over the years. While some have inadvertently breached the testosterone wall, in 1929 one French philosopher and writer named Maurice Choisy went undercover to report on the cloistered community. Previously, Choisy had written a book called A Month Among the Girls about her research of the world of the Paris sex worker. In her Mount Athos hands-on op, Choisy was disguised, apparently very convincingly, as a man, somehow crashing the Mount Athos male sanctuary and spending a month on the mountain. Her subsequent publication, described as a daring glimpse of a man's world, was entitled A Month Among the Men. Of course, the monastic state of Mount Athos rebutted her claims, in particular her description of a, quote, kinky monk. During the Greek Civil War from 1946 to 1949, Mount Athos provided sanctuary to a peasant's flock of animals, leading to another breach when women and girls participated in a raiding party that entered Athos in efforts to get their animals back. Soon after, in 1953, a 22-year-old Greek woman named Maria Poimenidou dressed as a man and stayed for 3 days on Athos, visiting most of the monasteries. Her trespassing created such an uproar amongst the residents of Mount Athos that the Greek government legislated an official law which upholds the 1,000-year-old charter. It means that it is illegal for any woman to enter Athos, and anyone who tries can be imprisoned for up to 12 months. There are other holy sites around the world, like Mount Omine in Japan, which also do not permit women from entering, although some are relaxing these bans in response to women's equal right to pray movements. Mount Athos was officially listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1988 because the monasteries contain priceless collections of well-preserved and hugely valuable religious artefacts, including rare books, ancient documents, and artworks.